how many of you would like if your face was carved on the side of a mountain? Would you like others to go and visit your mountain?
Sure would.
This is one of the many national parks in the United States, and many may not have the chance to go and visit or to learn the history about it. So today we will be discussing the history behind Mount Rushmore, the art involved, and the preservation and visitation of the national park. I have always had an interest in this national park, and I have done enough research to be properly informed about this topic. So first, we will discuss the history of Mount Rushmore. Second, we will talk about the art behind the making of the monument. And thirdly, we will discuss the preservation and visitation of Mount Rushmore. The history of Mount Rushmore begins with the artist Gutzon Borglum. According to the website pbs.org, accessed on November 10th, 2016, the reason why Gutzon abandoned his painting career was to compete with his brother. And historians have confirmed that it was to compete with his brother, but others also believe that it was for his admiration for a girl named Rodin, whom he met in Paris. Some of his major works include a bust of Abraham Lincoln, a painting of Abraham Lincoln, and also a carving of Robert E. Lee on a mountain in Georgia. Although he never finished the carving in Georgia, he still learned the skills needed to complete Mount Rushmore. His decision about Mount Rushmore was very strenuous. Retrieved from people.vcu.edu, accessed on November 10, 2016, Mount Rushmore, Robinson asked him to carve Robert E. Lee on the side of a mountain. And Robinson wanted regional heroes, but Gutzon only agreed to do this project if there were national heroes. He wanted to create a memorial for well-known presidents that represented the birth, growth, and preservation and development of a nation. According to nps.gov, retrieved on November 10, 2016, why these four presidents, he selected George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. George Washington led the colonists in the Revolutionary War to gain independence from Great Britain. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Theodore Roosevelt was known as the Trustbuster. He also dealt with the Panama Canal, and overall he was known for rapid economic growth. And lastly, Abraham Lincoln kept the nation together during the Civil War and abolished slavery. Now that we have talked about the artists behind Mount Rushmore, let's move on to the art involved. The art involved in the carving begins with the people that were hired, and they had variety of jobs. Retrieved from nps.gov, accessed on November 10, 2016, carving history, there were more than 400 workers who were offered $8 a day. Every day they had to climb up 700 steps to clock into work, and after that they sat on a buzz-in chair and were lowered down with cables. And during this whole entire 14 years there was no fatality in the entire process, and many of the workers confessed that they didn't like heights, but during the Great Depression, any job was great for them. They faced severe weather from snow to really hot weather, and the workers actually had some fun while they were on the job, and they made profits other than their $8 a day. The granite that they would take off with their hands, they would hold it and hope that people that would walk by would want to buy it, and they would get a low offer, and then they would wait and say it was for a friend. But in the end, they would just take the higher offer because they wanted the cool granite. They also drilled, hammered, and exploded the rock to get to the final surface. And the final surface wasn't even the final surface. It was more like a carving surface for them. They used the dynamite to get to 3 to 6 inches before the final carving site. And they used drills, and they had a process called honeycombing. And this is when you drill 2 holes close together so that the rock can be removed by hand easily. We are now ready to move on from the art and discuss the preservation and visitation of the national park. There is a digital preservation project, and according to the website sciarc.org, retrieved on November 10, 2016, this project is 3-dimensional, interactive, and it's to update the content about the national park. They created a digital portal, 10 lesson plans for teachers, a mobile app, and a new exhibit to be displayed at the park. Mount Rushmore is well known because of it being claimed as a national park. retrieved from nps.gov, accessed on November 10th, 2016, plan your visit. More than 3 million people visit this site every single year. The busiest months are June, July, August, and May. And there's no entrance fee, but there is a parking fee. And there's an avenue of flags that has 56 different flags on it. Finally, after the National Park preservation and visitation, we are now ready to conclude. So first we talked about the history behind Mount Rushmore. Second, we talked about the art behind the making of the monument. And thirdly, we discussed the preservation and visitation of the monument. So before you decide to run for president, understand the possibility of your face being carved on a mountain.